The following is a presentation of 2 Sports, the leader in local sports coverage.
Week number 3 of the high school football regular season. TV2 Sports coming to you live tonight from Bethlehem Area School District Stadium, where the 2-0 Freedom Patriots get ready to play host to the 2-0 Parkland Trojans. Good evening once again, and welcome to Lehigh Valley Conference Football. Mike Zambelli joined by Jim Wills. Regina Potocny along in just a moment. What an interesting football game we have here for you tonight. 2 head coaches that are vehement about finding out more about their teams, and they will both get their sternest tests of this early season. We take a look at Jim Morgan's and his Trojans. They are 2-0 to this point. They beat Glen Mills a couple of weeks ago, coming off a 47-6 win recently against Nazareth. Jim, this is a young football team. Inexperienced, I think, is the more appropriate word to use, but make no mistake about it, Jim is excited about what he has, and it probably starts with his quarterback, who many say could be one of the best in the area.
It is, and when you talk about lob, you talk about poise, you talk about size, strength, and it is, numbers aren't big, Mike, but he has a potential to throw a lot of big things into that game plan with lob. So that's the question that's going to be tonight, I think. Will they come out throwing? Will lob be a big piece of this puzzle tonight? I think he might be.
For Jason Roeder and his Patriots, 2-0. They've been there before in this program, and a lot of folks may be saying, yeah, we've seen this, what's going to happen now? But there is something different, Jim, and you and I can both sense it. It's a confidence that Coach Rader has with his team. They have a lot more weapons, which we saw last week against Deeroff in a 48-0 win. But the guy who's going to make this whole thing go is the quarterback, and he's Joe Weaver.
Yeah, Joe Weaver does a great job, Mike. Over 400 yards on the season. Very confident. He got a great receiving core, makes great decisions, and that's the key. He's been in these kind of games the last couple of years on a really bad end, but that's why I think tonight you're going to see him come out with a chance to make a purposeful thing for Freedom football tonight, and that's going to be his responsibility.
Other thing the Pates have going for him tonight, Jason Roeder fought for and a true home field here at Bethlehem Area School District. His team will occupy the west sidelines for the first time since the school opened in 1967. Looking for a great football game here tonight. We're glad you could join us. Your starters and kickoff up next.
You gotta give 110%. Leave it all out there. Work as hard as you can.
Now in his 4th season with Schuylkill Valley Sports, Ryan exemplifies the true meaning of preparation, proving that the right equipment and apparel from the right store makes you a game day hero.
Are you ready to give everything you got?
Yeah! Get ready for back to school in the fall sports season with all the top brands. With Schuylkill Valley Sports' amazing selection of licensed product. Ryan's getting ready. Are you?
Put some color in your world with a new floor from Mohawk Color Center. We've earned our name by bringing style and beauty to some of the finest homes in the world, something Mohawk has been doing for over a century. For the greatest selection of carpet, hardwood, laminate, and even ceramic tile, from a name you can trust, Mohawk Color Center. Flooring made simple.
Visit R&J Carpet Connection, 922 North 3rd Street in Whitehall.
Been thinking about a new Accord? Get to Phillipsburg Easton Honda's Accord Race to the Record. We're out to finish number 1, and here's how. With our best price guarantee. Prove it. Oh, yeah. Drive an Accord for only $169 a month. We make it easy to afford an Accord. We'll save you up to $4,000 off Accord MSRP and pay top dollar for your trade. Phillipsburg Easton Honda is putting the pedal to the metal on Accord pricing, and you're still sitting there? Get to Phillipsburg Easton Honda. The Accord race is on, and you're the winner.
Welcome you back to Bethlehem Area School District Stadium, Frank Banco Field, for tonight's Lehigh Valley Conference showdown between Jason Roeder's Freedom Patriots and Jim Morgan's Parkland Trojans. Now for our opening kickoff, sponsored by Kleckner & Sons Appliances. the leaders in sales and service for over 62 years. If a touchdown is scored on this kickoff, we will draw a name, and the winner will receive a $150 gift certificate to Kleckner & Sons Appliances. For your chance to win, visit Kleckner & Sons Appliances in Whitehall or Emmaus. No purchase is necessary. So new addition to our excitement here. And of course, Jim, last week we saw the opening kickoff returned for a touchdown by Logan Davis. He was with the Pates, and number 34 is one of the guys retreating deep for the Pates. He'll be joined by number 23, Deshaun Serrano. And kicking off for Parkland will be number 91. That is Travis Guth. We understand that Robert Lawler suffered an injury in a soccer match. He is their full-time kicker. So the Trojans will turn to Travis Guth here at least for opening kickoff. This one is underway, end over end kick, and this is once again Logan Davis, number 23, Deshaun Serrano, and the Pates will have the first possession of the game. Regina Potocny with us for her first report.
Thanks, Michael. We know this is one of Jason Roeder's biggest games as a head coach at Freedom High School. So we talked with him and Coach Morgans a little bit this week, and here's a little bit of what they have to say.
Parkland is Parkland. They're a perennial power in our league, and our program has been talking about taking the next step for a long time. And this is just all you can ever hope for is an opportunity, and we have a great opportunity here. And our kids understand the opportunity at hand.
We're going to have to play pretty tight defense. They've just racked up point after points against both their opponents, so that's certainly going to be a challenge. And defensively, they run around and do a real good job. They get off blocks. They really have a great effort in games and pursue very well. And even into the kicking game, I think their kicking game is excellent.
So there you have it, a little bit of what both coaches think of their matchup here tonight. Jim and Mike, back up to you.
Well, and the Patriots coming out firing. Joe Weaver finding his favorite receiver so far, Colin Freitas. Good for a 10-yard gain and a Patriot first down. Motion man is Will Valecki. Valecki did score a touchdown in last year's game, 27-7 the final. And Jim, we were looking at the final box score of that game. Patriots, you get the sense, will need to get a little better or more out of number 21, Isaiah Wright. They were held to minus 10 yards rushing last year on 17 carries.
Yeah, he's got 82 yards on the season, Mike, this year, so I think he's off to a better start. Wright, and then they can come in with Riddick at some points as well. I think that's going to give him a break, but Wright's got to make some big plays here this evening in order for the Patriots to have a chance to beat Parkland.
Gain of 4 on first down. Here is Weaver quickly to Valecki, and Valecki is into Trojan territory. And gang tackled, but not before he's inside the Trojan 40-yard line.
Well, you knew they were going to come out throwing Mike Weaver with two throws out of the first 3. You know that's what they've done all year. They've been very successful. They got a great receiving core, so you're going to be able to see he's going to spread the ball all around the field. That time, Valecki coming up with the big catch there, had 5 catches on the season, and he's averaging 31 yards per catch.
1st and 10, second first down of this opening series for the Freedom Patriots. Weaver under center. Wright is the deep back, and he gets the call and finds nothing in the middle of that Trojan defense, led by number 81. That's the defensive end, Clint Miller.
There you see number 81, Clint Miller. Great job in there on the inside. 6'3", 220 pounds. That's the kind of thing that the defense for Parkland this year has done a very good job. They haven't given up that many points on the season, 20 to be exact, and they've done a good job defensively of shutting people down.
Well, coaches do not like to use the term young but sometimes it's needed. And when you look at Parkland, as we mentioned in the open, this is an inexperienced team. I don't know so much they're young, but they are inexperienced. Here is Weaver finding Valecki once again. That touchdown a year ago came in the final quarter. Valecki catching a 68-yard pass from Weaver. And, Jim, those two guys have picked up where they left off in last year's ballgame.
No question about it. Here you're going to see just a quick drop back here. He's going to look outside. He's not really looking anywhere else but in Valecki's direction. And this is going to be a big test for the defensive backs from Parkland.
1st and 10. Patriots moving the opening kickoff down the field. Valecki this time, Weaver, throwing behind. Freitas, pressure coming from Clint Miller.
Well, that time there was a mix-up in the patterns, Mike. They had too many people in the wrong spot there. Too short of a pattern run by Freitas that time, and Weaver just aired it out to where he thought Freitas was going to be. And you take a first look at the Freedom cheering section in the opposite end of the stadium.
West sidelines, and it has happened before. Freedom opened the school in 1967, the first couple of years. They did have the team on this sidelines. They did not play Liberty, however, in that first year, and it was not as much of an issue as it is today. Gaping hole for Wright, who is inside the 10 and has another Freedom first down.
Well, I think another thing that's going to help the Patriots right now, Mike, is the fact that when you can pass the ball like they have on this drive, that gets those linebackers thinking and making like a little bit of a half a step to a step drop out to the outside. Then it's going to open up those quick hitters inside. As you see there, good job of the Patriot offensive line, especially the fullback Todd Micah putting in a nice block there.
First and goal from about the 8-yard line. Weaver on a long count goes to the option, gets it to Wright. And a nice job of stringing that play out. Coming up to make the tackle, number 27 is Sam Tajiri. Tajiri, a two-way starter at halfback offensively and the cornerback on the defense.
Good job by the Parkland defense, Mike. They couldn't get outside on them. They sealed it very well. They cut down that angle of pursuit, and it's going to bring up a second down here.
On second down, Weaver looks to throw, has an isolation far side, but well covered in the neighborhood was number 22, Eric Zuber.
Zuber, the junior there, 5'7". He's done a great job there, step for step with Freitas as Velicky as he was trying to get outside.
Parkland athletic followers will remember his sister. Actually, was a pretty good basketball player.
University of Buffalo doing a great job. Father was a pretty good basketball player himself.
Yes. Third down and goal now from just outside the 7-yard line. And they go to the trap and nothing happening there. On the carry was Patrick Collins. And he was met immediately, I believe it, by number 40, Pete Bross.
A big stop here for the Parkland defense. You know, this is a big key. If Freedom could have got a touchdown out of his drive, you talk about a mental advantage here, but they're still going to try to get the field goal here on fourth down.
Well, Jeff Schaefer, one of the best in the Lehigh Valley Conference, on to attempt what will be a 22-yarder. Freedom Patriots are on the board first. The 22-yard field goal is good, and it is 3-0 Freedom.
Well, that's the advantage, Mike, of having a very good kicker like Schaefer. We talked about that before the game. He's done an outstanding job all year, and it's, that's what you're going to get in these kind of games. You can't go down there and get no opportunity. You get an opportunity, you got to get some points off the board. They got the 3.
11 extra points on the year. That is his first field goal. Jim, we discussed in our open how a lot of folks are saying yes, Freedom has been 2-0 before, and then nothing has happened with it. But it is a distinctive. They might not win this football game here, but the confidence that coach and players have in one another, plus the positive attitude that you see. And I think we get a sense of that on that opening possession. How many times have you seen a Freedom team, within the last 20 years, let's say, take an opening kickoff and look that sharp going down the field in a game of this importance?
A lot of times they would self-destruct, Mike, and that's what Coach Roeder was hoping for, and did not, see any signs of that that he could have consistency. They did a very, very nice job there. A couple of patterns that were mistakes on their part, but other than that, they had some people that were wide open and had some big gains on that drive, and he's got to be happy with that opening drive.
Yeah, absolutely. Orchestrated well by quarterback Joe Weaver, who mixed pass and run, and really get the sense that Pates will need to get something out of their running game. 3-0 now. Schaefer to kick off. Deep for the Trojans, Sam Tajiri. And this will be Sean Kuiper. Kuiper, a backup quarterback. Kuiper spins out of a tackle. Met initially by number 11, Mike Mazika. Mazika, a junior. And the first look at the Trojan offense.
Well, the keys now for the Patriots is going to be obviously read your keys, stay at home. There you see 11 plays, 68 yards, 3:53 on the time, a 23-yard field goal by Jeff Schaefer to put the Patriots on the board first. Defensively, though, they got to stay home. This team will grind you and grind you and grind you with that wing tee.
Quarterback John Laub, 6'2", 200-pound senior, takes a high snap from center, but gets it into the hands of, that was Harrod, Daryl Harrod, number 23. He and his brother Kevin, starting running backs for the Trojans. Daryl is the younger of the two, 5'10", 205-pound junior. His brother Kevin, who wears number 35, is a 6'1", 220-pound senior. Sam Tajiri lines up in the slot to the left. He is the motion man. And here is the fullback, and that'll be good for a first down. Kevin Harrod getting his first carry of the game.
Well, they're just going to come out, Mike, match you physical for physical, and you know it's coming, but, you know, they just pound you up front with that offensive line. Talking to Coach Morgan before the game, a lot of new people on that offensive line, but it seems like in these first two plays, a lot of the same production.
Yeah, they do it by committee. Kevin Harrod, the team's leading ball carrier, 120 yards, 18 carries. He scored twice. Tajiri, 114 on 11 carries. He averages 10.4 per carry. He scored a touchdown. Zimmel, who we've not seen yet, 89 carries. And that football is loose. And it appears that the Patriots have come up with it, and they have.
That thing never got developed in the backfield, Mike. Lob had a tough time getting that handoff to go. And that ball squirted right through the whole offensive and defensive lines, and the Patriots recover.
Well, and when you talk inexperience, that is the concern this year with the Parkland team. It just never happened, as you said.
Take a look. It came up off the right shoulder of Lob's shoulder pad. It was off the top there and just bounced right back out. And the Patriots are in business here for the second time this evening.
I'm not sure about the spacing in that backfield, Jim. It was an errant snap from center, one that I'm sure Lob would like to have another opportunity to get. But Harrod was right there, and it almost hit him in the shoulder pad. There's a quick pass intended for Yusef Reddick. And it falls incomplete. It'll bring up second down 10 from the Parkland 40.
Well, that time the Patriots were running with trips on the right-hand side. Tried to really put that rocket screen out there. You know, a real quick release outside the Reddick. They need to get him into space, because when he gets into space, he can cause all kinds of problems.
In last year's game, Parkland turned it over 3 times. It was a rainy night, and you get the sense that if the Trojans turn it over 3 times tonight, I don't know that they win this football game.
He's good.
A different year here surrounding Freedom football, and this is a big test for them. There's Weaver on the option, tries to get it going upfield, and will drag a defender with him for about 2 to 3 yards. That's Harrod now on the defensive side of the football for the Trojans.
Well, Weaver's going to show you his ability to run with the football. He does a nice job. It's a little tough this time going to that left side, though. You know, it's just always tough to power on that left side. Trojans do a good job of shutting that one down early.
Jason Roeder. What a football player he was for Bob Stem on this very field back in the early 90s. Part of that 1990 state championship team. He was a sophomore that year. 3rd down and 6. Weaver to throw, has time, and has his receiver. That is Colin Freitas, and that is good for a first down on a 3rd down for the Pates.
Well, Mike, we talked about in the past couple of weeks about all the passing camps in the summer. That's where these kind of patterns and these kind of, you know, things that you're seeing between Weaver and Freitas, that's where they get perfected in the summer. And, you know, you can tell they just have that, you know, connection going on.
Jaleel Clark, number 14, from his free safety position to make the stop. 5th first down of this game for Freedom. Trojans have recorded 1. Here's Wright, and runs into a wall in the middle of the defense, led by number 55, it looks like John Funk.
Well, big question is going to be, Mike, up front, which offensive line can move the defensive line, because I think that, you know, both have been really pushing the fact that they, you know, spent a lot of time in the weight room and have gotten a lot better than last year. Or, you know, Jim Morgan's always has his guys in the weight room as well. So it'll be interesting in those offensive lines to see what happens.
Second down 10. Weaver to throw. Pocket moving left, and a good throw, but unable to come up with it was Freitas. Weaver is an accurate thrower on the run. Very mobile quarterback as you look at Jim Morgan's third year with Parkland, and first 2 seasons have produced a championship. His first year Eastern Conference, and of course last year they are the defending Lehigh Valley Conference champs. Let's go to Regina.
And Jim, you speak of the offense and defensive lines both here for the Freedom Patriots and Parkland Trojans. And I asked Jason Roeder this week, how do you feel your line is going to match up? We know it's a big part of high school football. He said we're very much more conditioned, we're stronger. He said part of it has to do with Coach Jim Morgan, who obviously, as you said, is his third year at Parkland, but came from Freedom. So he said it started off with him, these kids bought into it, and now we're just going with it and keep going, getting stronger and stronger. So he felt that there was a good matchup, but he's not sure. Obviously going on here, the kids had to be intensity and execute the plays.
Well, there's action on the field now. This pass complete to Freitas. And on the spot, the sidelines not liking the spot.
Sideline warning on Freedom.
Like they're trying to say that, his forward progress was beyond the stick for the first down. And if you take a look at it, he went a couple yards backwards when he got hit, and that's what the coaches were complaining about there on the sideline.
I'm going to pick up on what Regina was talking about, that Freedom weight room. Of course, Jim's son-in-law, Jeff Laird, is the guy who runs that weight room right now over at Freedom, so I'm sure he picks his father-in-law's pocket a little now and then for a little help. But now there's some neat ties within this. Of course, Jim, the 3-year head coach at Freedom. The only time the Patriots were ever in the District 11 tournament was under his direction. And now the Patriots will lose a timeout, facing 4th down and 3 with the ball on the 20.
That time they had a receiver on the wrong side in the wrong formation, so Weaver smartly called the timeout.
This timeout being brought to you by ABE Doors and Windows, proud sponsor of high school football here on 2 Sports Service Electric. Thanks once again to all of our sponsors for showing a great interest in these youngsters and certainly in our community here. 3-0 Freedom, 4:23 to go first quarter. First of 2 here tonight on a Friday night. We'll have Saucon Valley and Bangor. Our R&J Carpet Connection trivia question tonight. When was the last time Freedom defeated Parkland, and who was their head coach? And we're going to bring it right up to you. Of course, it was Friday, October 8th, 1993. Jody Zwick, the late Jody Zwick, who lost his battle to cancer earlier within the last year. 29-12 was the final. Mike Thyman had a touchdown in that ball game. Bill Honey scored 2. Frank Cooper had an 85-yard touchdown run in that contest. As we go for it on 4th and short, Freitas with the coverage over there, and it was a good job by Sam Tajiri.
Very good job there. He wanted to go up top. They were going for the whole ball of wax on that one. Mike Weaver put it up top, and Tajiri did a nice job defensively. Here you're going to take a look at it. See, he's matched up there against Freitas.
Don't know that Tajiri ever really knew where that football was, but his technique was very good to avoid any kind of a flag. That was a good non-call.
And a very good point on your part, Mike. He did not know where that ball was until the end.
First quarter being brought to you by Kleckner's Appliances, with 2 locations to serve you, one in Whitehall, one in Emmaus. 4:09 to go in this opening period. That's a missed opportunity for the Pates, Jim. You take the ball and you get it over on a turnover at the other team's 40. You need to cash in on something.
Yeah, because basically what you forget about, too, is that just established momentum. And the more momentum you can get in this game, the better off you're going to be, especially when it's been that long since you beat a team like Parkland. So it's, a momentum buster as well.
Well, and the other end of it, too, a real confidence booster for the Trojan defense. Lob going to Tajiri, and he finds nothing. Lost yardage. Mike Zanoni, one of the captains for the Pates, number 14 in there.
You're going to take a look at it. What we talk about, Mike, the offensive line. Wait till you see. Look at the offensive line is getting pushed back. The defensive line of Freedom doing an outstanding job of really containing and pushing them in the trenches.
Defensive end Dave Harvey was the first man in there. 5'10", 195-pound senior. On the other end of it, this is an experienced Freedom team, and Jason Roeder has played off of that this entire season. A number of these guys, 22 starters, he has something like 13 or 14 seniors, and the rest are juniors, and most of them have varsity experience. Here's lob, his first pass to Jaleel Clark. Clark, looking for some running room, is very close to and appears to have the first down.
Very good call by the Parkland staff there. A little slip screen to Clark inside. And what happens is Freedom with the three-man rush almost got in there at first, but his fourth reception of the year for Jaleel Clark. And I'll tell you what, nice call here. See, they just let him come in, and all of a sudden he slips in through there, gets some good blocks out front by number 54 there, who was giving him a good block out front. That is Andrew Sloan, and that was the thing that helped key that for the first down.
Second first down of the game for the Trojans, a big one to keep the chains moving there. Here's lob to throw once again. Thrown, intended for number 88, Dan Kish, the tight end, and falls incomplete. Let's go down to Regina Potocny.
Thanks, Mike. And you speak of Freedom defending the wing tee offense that Parkland runs. As we can see, they also do pass in their game. But Coach Roeder told me this week, we have to stay very disciplined. It's a fine line covering this wing tee. It was kind of hard to determine the speed of it in practice, but we have to stay disciplined. We have to play with a purpose, speed, and, of course, energy.
Well, the other thing he talked about with that topic was it was hard to emulate that wing tee offense. His guys don't run that, and that always becomes a difficult task for any team facing this offense. That is number 24, Nate Zimmel, getting the carry.
Good job by Isaiah Wright staying home there that time as well. Deshaun Serrano also back there to help out, but Wright stayed home. See, that was the key. You can't really get, the fakes in those backfield when you have that wing tee are sometimes can lull you to sleep, so you got to be awake at all times, and that's what I'm sure Coach Roeder is concerned with.
3rd and 8, and Lob will operate from the shotgun. Running option weak side, foregoes the pitch man, and is tripped up, dives far forward. Needed to get on the other side of the 40, and appears to be about a half yard to a yard shy. He is, and Parkland will send on the punting unit.
You can take a look at a nice fake inside as he goes down the line, fakes the pitch, and then kind of loses his balance a little bit there, Mike. If he didn't do that, I think he might have had enough for the first down. But it's going to cause a 4th down and another punt for the Trojans.
They'll bring on Nate Zimmel. Good snap from center. And a good kick. Far side, number 34 is Logan Davis. Davis needs a block and couldn't get it. What a terrific effort by number 23, Darryl Harrod. And now a flag comes in right in that area. If Davis gets around that end, he has some room to roam.
There you see the officials talking over right now.
Led by referee Jim Haney, Ozzie Briner, the umpire, Tim Peters, head linesman, Mark Berner, the line judge, and Rick Lehman is the back judge.
During the return, we have pushing it back by the return team, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. It will result in a first down, Freedom.
First penalty of the football game on either team. So from their own 20. Weaver on first down, bootleg, being chased, but still gets it into the hands, but dropped by Mike Zanoni. Oh, Mike would love to have that one back. That's a terrific effort on Weaver's part once again.
Very good play call by the Freedom Patriot staff. They're going to roll him left now to his power side, and he's just going to loft that one out there. Zanoni has it in his hands and then thinks about running first, but you got to secure that football before you can start running.
Yeah, Mike will be the first guy in to see his quarterback there. Give me another opportunity somewhere, and I would think, Jim, that Freedom coaching staff also puts that play in their memory banks. They had what they wanted. On 1st and 10, now 2nd down 10. Weaver fires far side. Pass is complete, but for minimal yards. Valecki on the reception. And it was Jaleel Clark in coverage up to make the tackle.
Well, Clark gives you such great size, when he's out there, Mike, at 6'4" and 200 pounds. And just a great open field tackler. What an athlete, tremendous basketball player as well. And we've talked about him all the time. And, I think he's just a rising star in both sports.
Not only that, Jim, he's all arms and legs. I mean, you talk about a defender, his arms are like a mile long when he covers a lot of territory. 3rd down 7 might be the final play of the quarter. Throw it near side for Freitas. It falls incomplete, stopping the clock at 3.9. Well, that penalty now, depending on what happens on this punt, and it concerned Jason Roeder looking on.
Well, he's concerned, Mike, because he knows you can't get these opportunities and not capitalize on them. And that's the thing that I know is in the back of his mind. They should have got more points than they have right now.
Will Velicky in punt formation. Sean Kuiper and Sam Tajiri deep to receive. This will be Tajiri just inside his own side of the field. Run out of bounds. We've played one. It is Freedom 3, Parkland nothing.
Hey, football fans, if you love dealing with a winning team, head to the leader, Kleckner's in Whitehall and Emmaus for the fabulous GE Kickoff Sale. Browse our huge selection of GE ranges, GE refrigerators, GE dishwashers, GE washers, and GE dryers. Now at Kleckner's, get great savings plus free delivery, free haul away of old, a full parts department, and their own factory-trained techs. Stop in today. See why Kleckner's has been serving the Lehigh Valley since 1945. 2 locations, Kleckner's, 2177 MacArthur Road in Whitehall and 575 Chestnut Street, Emmaus.
3-0 Freedom. Let's visit with Regina.
Thanks, Mike. And as we spoke with Coach Morgans of Parkland High School this week, he said it's going into week 3. Our team is making a lot of progress. I'm happy with where we are, but there were 3 things that he was concerned about after week 1 against their game against Glen Mills. He said we had 10 penalties in the first game, had to clean that up actually last week against Nazareth. He was much happier with that. Also, he said ball control and security. Obviously, we did see the offense fumble in the first quarter here, so I'm sure he's not happy with that. And also, he told us that he wants to make sure that we're intense.
It has been an intense battle on both teams. Both coaches talked about that. Here's the fullback, Harad, with a successful gain on first down for the Trojans, now working from your left to right.
Well, there's nothing more that the Trojans wouldn't want to do right now, Mike, is pound this one down, grind it out, and get some points out of it, because, they know that they've, given some opportunities to Freedom, been able to not really get burnt by him and get some points out of this drive.
I would think Parkland at this point of the game, with the way field position has been and the turnover, you're never glad to be down, but, not bad being down 3-0. Here is Harad once again. Darryl Harad this time, the junior, and he has a Trojan first down. Terrific job by that left side of the line.
Now you're going to take a look at it here as you see great block there by number 35, Kevin Harad, his brother, to open that up for him to get that available opening that started.
Wow. In a rematch of last year's Eastern Conference Championship game, Emmaus 16-0 coming off that heartbreaking 1-point loss on the road at Emmaus. A lot of folks talking about the Green Hornets and Joe Baudelaire. And here is Harad, Kevin Harad, and that is a scary sight for a corner, as he is a big man to be roaming free in the secondary at 6'1" and 220 pounds.
You can see it now. You can see how he breaks to the outside. He gets a great block once again from his brother, and he makes his own move out there to get those last 5 yards. Nice job by the offensive line coming right off that corner.
He is an extremely physical and strong young man from the waist down, as you can see, and he will be a load to bring down, Jim, once he breaks anything in that secondary. 1st and 10, football just shy of the 15-yard line. It is Harad once again. Kevin getting the bulk of the work here. finds a couple of yards.
Good job there by Anthony Carter, though, to get the stop. Carter's been one of the bright spots for Coach Roeder's defense in the past couple of weeks. Tremendous player, with that great bloodline of his, coming from, his dad being a great runner at Purdue and then playing with the Steelers for a couple of years. So he's been an outstanding performer for a couple of years.
Talking about number 66, Anthony Carter. Are you kidding me? Papa, outstanding runner at Purdue, as you mentioned, and spent 3 years with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Lob looking to throw, goes quickly but too far, intended for Darryl Harrod.
You see the coaches on the Parkland sidelines, Mike, putting their hands down saying, slow down, slow down, slow down. They're trying to get Lob to slow down the pace of that ball that time, a little bit slower, a little bit, lower would have been a very successful play.
Well, I think one of the things, and we mentioned, John Lobb in our open, a lot of folks saying has the tools to become a very good quarterback, but what you run into a lot when you run into that inexperience is the touch, and I think that's what you're alluding to there. And even watching warm-ups, there's a lot of heat on those passes, and you get into games sometimes a little softer touch serves you better. And here's the throw intended for Jaleel Clark, and again a little wide. Well, here's where not having Robert Lawler could be a difference. Lawler in last year's game kicked 2 37-yard field goals. And something like 6 a season ago. He's a real weapon for them. And this might, at this point, sway the decision. And it looks like the Trojans will go on 4th down. They lose a weapon when they lose Lawler.
Especially in a game this tight, Mike, that's a big, big weapon to lose.
4th down, they need 9. That would put them down. They need to get the football down to about the 6-yard line. Lobb going for it all and has his man. Did he catch it? Yes. What a throw and a touchdown to number 21, Cale Sweeney on the reception.
Well, that time, Mike, just the opposite of what we've been talking about. Came back, took his time, lofted that ball into the corner. Sweeney did a nice job of running it out to that corner, to the post. And that's, his first reception of the season. So that's the thing. There you see that out to the corner. Nice job. He put that ball right where he needed to be. But the key was he just lofted that ball. He didn't have to throw it that hard. He did a great job of putting it where he needed to do.
Travis Guth out off the hold of Eric Zuber. And immediately the loss of Lawler is evident as the kick is just a low one and it remains 6-3. They are going to give Jermel Lee, number 5, credit for blocking that one, but that was just a low-line drive.
Yeah, you forget, you lose the field goals, but you also lose the extra points. Now here it is. See how he's taking his time, just does a nice job of lofting that ball out. Perfect throw. You couldn't have thrown it any better outside to Sweeney. Now you're going to take a look here. Sweeney's going to take the couple steps and then just go right out, heading for that corner. And right for the sidelines, and nice job of setting it where he needs to be.
Absolutely. That touch had some class, or that throw had some class, had a little touch to it, a little trajectory to it. And those are the throws that I think John Lobb needs to become a little bit more comfortable with to get to that level where a lot of folks think he will. 14 yards. Sweeney's first catch of the season goes for a touchdown. 7 plays, 44 yards.
No, that's a big, big momentum swing here, Mike. They needed that play. They needed that, especially on 4th down. But they needed that momentum-wise to get them back mentally in this game after the mistakes they made early.
Booth's kick is on its way. And fielded by number 33. That's Serrano.
Looked like
23, excuse me. Deshaun Serrano, yes, on the return. And a good one out to the 34-yard line. I think as advertised so far, Jim, huh?
No question about it, Mike. I think it's exactly what everybody thought it would be. Patriots didn't take advantage of a couple opportunities they had. Did get the field goal out of it, but I'm sure that's the thing that they're going to be concerned about here. Parkland comes back and does a nice job, especially going for it on 4th down.
Freedom coming out of off the sidelines with a no huddle. Weaver under center. and will go to right. Not getting around the corner and leading the defensive charge. There's Cale Sweeney, who just caught the touchdown pass. So Sweeney listed on their 2 deep as a reserve at wide, at halfback and outside linebacker, playing a major part here in this first half for the Trojans.
Well, he's a senior, and it's that senior leadership, Mike, stepping up. He's been in these big ball games, you know, as we all know. Parkland, very, very good season last year, ended in disappointment losing to Easton, but he's been in all those big ball games, so that experience really helps you.
Weaver to throw. Receiver slipped, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down. Well, you mentioned being a senior, Cale Sweeney's one of just 13 on their 64-player roster. 13 seniors, 35 juniors, and 14 or 16 sophomores. Pretty big 3rd down here facing the Patriots and Joe Weaver. Pocket breaks down, and he's just going to have to get rid of it, and does a good job to avoid the sack.
And Parkland came with all kinds of pressure that time. All out blitz by the defense. Weaver just was fortunate, you're right, to get that off without getting sacked.
Pete Bross, Clint Miller, Nate Zimmel.
You take a look, they're coming from the outside, the inside. Sweeney even came in on from the outside again. You see number 40 there, Pete Bross, Mike talked about. You know, very good defensive stand here by the Trojans.
Valecki, the low snap from center, and does a beautiful job to get that out of there. Kuiper singles 4 and makes the fair catch at his own 35-yard line.
Very, very good punt by Valecki.
Rest of the action tonight in the Lehigh Valley Conference: Central Catholic at Nazareth, Easton at Allen, Northampton at Emmaus, Liberty at Whitehall. This second quarter being presented by Kleckner's Appliances, with 2 locations to serve you, one in Whitehall, one in Emmaus. Stop by and make sure you register for our $150 gift certificate that can be won if the opening kickoff is returned for a touchdown. Deeroff Bethlehem Catholic, the Saturday night affair, will be here tomorrow night. Deeroff Becca, week number 3. Not going to say it, Joe, because you know it's going to fly by. I'm not going to say it.
Exactly.
7:52 and counting. Gain of 6 on first down for Parkland. Starting to feel momentum swinging in their direction. They'll keep it on the ground. This is Tajiri. And a nice second and even third effort to get it across midfield.
Well, the offensive line's starting to feel a lot more positive too, Mike. You're going to take a look here. Look at all the nice blocks inside, outside. He's getting a lot of different holes to pick from. Offensive line starting to dominate the Patriots here a little bit in the second quarter.
Won their first. There's a penalty marker coming in here, and I believe this is going to be an illegal substitution on Freedom.
That is the second sideline warning against Freedom. The result will be a 5-yard penalty.
That's tougher to take even yet. So they'll move all the players back. There is a line, and coaches do like the players, and they are now moving all those players back behind that line to give the coaches then room to operate in front of them. Harad on the carry. Perhaps, Jim, I have to say this, maybe it's the new sidelines that they're
I was going to say that, Mike, but I don't want to get into it.
I'll bring it in.
I don't want to get into that. Their new home, and maybe they're not familiar with their new home where they need to be there on the sideline.
Well, and just to pick up, as there's a marker down on this play here, Harad now 5 carries, 35 yards. And now a face mask on the Patriots, and now this is becoming unglued for the Freedom team.
Yeah, these are the kind of mistakes that you've seen in the past, and this is what Coach Roeder has tried to get rid of, those kind of self-destructing things that happen like that. Mike, along with that sideline warning, I think a lot of the times, too, that when the coaches start barking and getting in the referee's ears, that's the first thing that comes out is that sideline warning. A lot of times it's not the kids that much that are really encroaching, but it's their way of controlling the coaches a little bit more as well.
No, you're right. And that penalty will give Parkland a first down. Darryl Harrod, couple of yards in between the tackles, but to pick up on the thought, Jason Roeder, for those of you not familiar, wanted Freedom to be able to be here, what is considered on the home side at Bethlehem Area School District Stadium, place they had not been since Freedom opened back in 1968. And for valid reasons. Number one, the down markers are always on the visitor's side, so it would give him, number one, a better view, or the far side, I should say, away from the press box. So it gives him and his staff a better view of the down markers, and just for that reason, Jim, it is a valid point that he makes.
It is, and what's happened is in the research they've developed, they've seen it, one of the only schools in the state of Pennsylvania that has somebody that does not flip-flop the side. So, you know, the ruling was made, and now tonight they're on the home side for the first time in a long, long time.
Lob intended for Jaleel Clark. Double cover downfield by Jermel Lee. And Deshaun Serrano in coverage as well. Frank Lane, former head coach at Salisbury, discussing things with his first-year senior quarterback, John Lobb.
And a long-time assistant at Freedom as well, Mike.
Yes, yes. There are great ties between these two programs, and I know a great deal of respect between the two as well. Third down and 8, 5:56 remain first half. Lob flares it. This is to Jerry. Slips a defender, but cannot avoid number 11. That is Michael Mazika. With a penalty marker in at the end of this play as well. Block in the back on Parkland. You never know, winning or losing. You don't know by that expression.
Always the same.
And now options for Jason Roeder and his team. I think if I could read lips, it would be 3rd and 16 or 4th and about maybe 4.
During the run, we have a block in the back against the offensive team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat, 3rd down.
So they opt to go and take the penalty. Grandfather of 6.
You said, Mike, a lot of interconnections with Jeff Laird, married to his daughter on the Freedom staff, was on the staff with him when he was at Freedom. So a lot of interchangeable parts here in the Lehigh Valley Conference.
Lob, empty backfield and throws. Has his pass complete to Jiri, but good coverage and a good job coming up to make the tackle by number 22, Tyler Markworth.
Now, one of the things you can see, Mike, when he's thrown to the right side, so much more confident. You know, he's got the power from that right side. It's tough when you're rolling to that other side. But see, now he goes back. He's got that right side. Look at that thing goes out there like a dart. Very good throw by him on that series.
Yeah, the decision being made now far side. And now they're going to talk about it. Trojans taking a timeout. We'll discuss perhaps going for it. Football's on the 35-yard line. They would need 12 on 4th down. Let's go to Regina.
As the Freedom Patriots in the first 2 weeks outscored their opponents 83-7, Coach Morgans from Parkland told me this week, you know, we have to get first downs and keep our offense on the field. So they're going for their 3rd first down here this drive and their 10th overall in the game. I'm sure he's happy with the way they're moving the ball and that they're up 6-3, but it was one of their goals this week was to keep his offense on the field because they knew how dangerous Freedom's offense could be.
He's seen just about all you can see. 2 times a state champion as a head coach at Central. Go along with numerous league and district titles. And a member of the Central Catholic Wall of Fame. He was a terrific athlete himself. Looks like they're going to go here, Jim.
They made a decision to go for it.
I think this is two things. I think this is, you give yourself a chance to keep this drive alive, number one, but number two, showing a great deal of confidence in your defense as well. And if they give it up, it would be at the 35-yard line, and the defense has played well. Lob flushed out of the pocket, and that pressure forced the incomplete pass, and it was Dave Harvey, number 61, who got the lob just in the nick of time because he had an open receiver.
That's the great job by Harvey there that time, because Lott stepped out of the pocket smartly because of the pressure that was coming around him. And as he stepped out, Harvey grabs a hold of him and brings him down.
Patriots take over on downs in a 6-3 game. Weaver, quick drop. Freitas on the reception. Perhaps 9. Earlier in this half, we gave you our trivia question, and the answer being Jody Zwick, and I wanted to make sure that I mentioned a lot of good things going on with Freedom Football, and their alumni club has already approached Jason Roeder, and for the first time this year, they will honor the late Jody Zwick by giving the Overachiever Award involved with the Freedom Football team, and I just thought that was one of the things that is all part of this resurgence of this program. They'll continue that award to give it to an overachiever within the Freedom Football program and honor the late Jody Zwick. I thought that was a great call by the alumni club here at Freedom. Weaver to throw, not this time. Zimmel, Cale Sweeney, who's having a nice first half.
Along Clint Miller, Mike, who's having another good first half here, number 81, come in there to really put the final seal on the deal. And, the thing of it is, Nick DeLuca's in there as well. You got great defensive effort. And Weaver had no time to get that off. Going back to your point, Mike, outstanding coach, Jody Zwick. Did a lot for that Freedom program. He just, needs to be recognized like that, and that's an excellent opportunity that the Booster Club is doing to recognize people with that.
On third down, Blitz is late in getting there, and Weaver's pass. Patriot fans looking for a marker far side. Freitas defended by Sam Tajiri.
Good job. You take a look at it here. Very good job by Tajiri. Did not backpedal whatsoever. Stood up when he had to make his move up, knocked the ball down. Very good job by the defensive back.
Jim, it's interesting. We talk so much about the potent offenses of both these teams, and receiver-wise, we have two very good secondaries playing in this game as well. Here's Tajiri. Gets a block from number 1, Devin Blake. Then able to turn it upfield, gets it out to about the 34-yard line. Zanoni in on the special team stop, so the Trojans with 3:16 remaining till half.
There you see Coach Lane talking to his quarterback, John Lobb. Lobb with a very nice size at 6'2". Doing a good job here of guiding the Trojans here in the first half.
Kevin Arad, the lone back, as they're in that wishbone or that wing tee set. Kevin gets the call, pulls away from 1 second, and 3 defenders, and a gain of nearly 10 yards. And there is an example of what we discussed earlier, Jim. This young man is immensely strong in the lower body, and here's an example of it.
Well, when you get that 220 pounds going, it really is hard to take down. And, you saw an example there where it took almost to the 4th hit where they got him out of bounds. But, that's the kind of thing that's going to upset Coach Roeder a lot, because they had a couple of good shots at him there. But credit him for the strength he has in that lower body.
Personal foul penalty after the play on Parkland. That won't sit well with the coaching staff across the way. There's your whistle. And then coming, right in there. That was the mix-up right there. You could see clearly after the play had stopped. Couldn't hear the whistle, but the play had stopped. Well, that'll take it back inside the 30. And here is Harrod. Darrell on the carry this time. Gain of close to 5.
Like, this is an announcer's dream, this game. You say
Harrod,
carried by Harrod,
and you're right.
You can't be wrong.
Well, it becomes pretty obvious defenses are going to get a heavy load of those two young men with Sam Tajiri. And it has been a staple of Jim Morgan's, Tom Filipovic's offensive coordinator. Penalty marker down on this play. That was Sweeney on the sweep. And another penalty on Parkland. So now both teams, some mental mistakes.
Holding on Parkland this time, Mike, and that's something that you don't see Jim Morgan's team, self-destruct a lot of times like this, but that's 2 straight penalties here. You're going to see now they're going to mark this one off for holding.
Well, and those in this kind of offense.
During the play, holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat, second down.
This kind of offense in the mindset where, you're looking at 5 yards being very successful. Yeah, you can. I know what's going to be said at halftime, but when you're looking at 5 yards being a successful play, needless to say, when you're penalizing yourself 10 and, now another 10, those are drive killers. So it's 2nd and 19, ball back to the 21. They had it close to midfield, and now Lobb looking for time to throw and finds it. Finds Jaleel Clark. There's another marker down on this play. They might have somebody illegally downfield on this one. That's what it is. 3 consecutive penalties.
Coach Morgan's not going to be happy with that in the halftime speech.
What did Regina say? They had 10 in the first game against Glen Mills.
Mike, that is correct. Coach Morgan did tell me they had 10 penalties in the first game against Glen Mills. He did tell me, though, also that Freedom is the best team they faced.
Receiver downfield during the pass. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat, second down.
Coach Morgan did tell me that Freedom is the best team they will be facing yet this season. He said Glen Mills is a quality squad, but just because of their situation, they only are with each other 2 weeks before the season starts. So they threw them off balance in the beginning of the game. Parkland got an early lead on Glen Mills. They came out with a big win. So this was going to be a test for them. The Parkland knew that along with Coach Morgan's.
Well, 2nd down now 24 is the Trojan offense in a serious moonwalk. And here is Kevin Harrod. He gets 9 of the 10 back. They're close to the, can't even say the original line of scrimmage. I think this drive started from their 34-yard line.
It's interesting to see now, if Freedom can get a good defensive stand here, go into the halftime just down by those 3 points. That's a very, very big mental part of it for them. If Parkland can get themselves out of this hole right here and get a couple of plays together, they still have a minute to drive down the field.
No, I don't look for this play to be too risky with under a minute to go. We'll see what they're thinking across the way. But it looked like Lobb was looking to hand off to somebody, but clearly not on the same page, and Freedom should use a timeout here.
Trojans are lucky they got away with one there, because any penetration by the defensive line would have caused an immediate fumble. I think the way Lobb was standing there, he had no idea which way he was giving that ball off.
See there, Andy Baranek. Andy Baranek has joined the staff, working with the quarterbacks. We'll replay Parkland Freedom tomorrow morning, 10:30, then live Southern Lehigh Penn Argyle. Same day coverage, Catasauqua Wilson, and then a repeat of Bangor and Saucon Valley. Another doubleheader of Sunday coverage, high school football. You get to look at 4 of them throughout the day. We will also be bringing you next day coverage of Princeton and Lehigh, 9 o'clock airtime Sunday morning. Of course, if you want to watch that ball game live, it'll be on dial position 8 on Saturday evening. Kickoff set for 6 o'clock. Zimmel on in punt formation. Logan Davis, the lone man back, now inside his own 40. Kick is a nice wobbly spiral. Logan signals for, makes the fair catch at his 41. 40 seconds and 1 timeout to work with for the Patriots.
Well, the Patriots got a little bit of time to work with here. You know, an excellent quarterback to have in that position.
Colonial League schedule for the weekend. Bangor, Saucon Valley coming up tonight at 10. Notre Dame, Palmerton, Northern Lehigh, Palisades, Salisbury, Northern Lehigh, and then, of course, the doubleheader tomorrow afternoon. Caddy Wilson and Southern Lehigh and Penargil. Both games will air tomorrow on 2 Sports. Weaver, their fast break offense, has Valecki. Valecki tripped up by Darrell Harrod. Clock will stop while they move the chains. 32.2 to go in the half. That one intended for, but incomplete to Yusef Reddick.
We're trying to run that out pattern there to get Reddick out of bounds after a couple-yard gain.
This young man here is going to give a lot of coaches gray hairs in this upcoming season and provide some great moments for Freedom Patriot football. Accurate passer on the run. He has good feet. He operates under center on 2nd and 10. Trojans rush 3. Pass downfield intended for Freitas. Zuber in coverage, number 22. With help from the inside by Jaleel Clark.
Take a look there at that sideline. Mike Scully sending in the play with Weaver. Been around this game a long time too. Whitehall, Liberty, Dariff. A lot of stops as an assistant coach for him. Helps call the offensive plays. Along with Ben Rep.
Third down, 10. Freitas unable to hang on, and we've got another punt coming up with 16 seconds. If indeed the Patriots decide to punt it. Valecki, their punter, now making his way. They're staying out on the field. Kuiper and Tajiri. Now retreating down to about their own 10. Signaling for the fair catch, but it goes into the end zone. 7 seconds to play here, first half.
Take a good look there at Coach Jason Roeder, and I'm sure in the back of his head, those opportunities in the first quarter are still dancing around back there. You know, he's got to be happy where he's at. The score is very, very, you know, indicative of a good first half for them. And but the thing of it is, he knows that when you got to get over that hump, and they are in that hump, they haven't won in 11 years against this team. You got to take advantage of those opportunities early.
As you very well know, Jim, the Bethlehem School District was out of school today. I called Coach Roeder today. He was home with his 2 young boys. He had babysitting duties as Love takes a knee. John and Ryan, both of them youngsters. He had the duty today. He had to call. He said, I forgot to do it a little bit, but he figured it out. Good football game, a slugfest defensively. Both teams making some mistakes. It's 6-3 Parkland.
Since the Overhead Door Company makes the original overhead door, the people who install and service them take them pretty seriously. Call or log on for the overhead door dealer nearest you.
Since 1937, Walters Pharmacy has been making life easier for you, the name you trust most when you need your prescription filled. That's because getting your prescription right is our #1 priority, and only Walters Pharmacy delivers anywhere in Allentown for free. Our wide selection of health products and mobile equipment, as well as our convenient hours, make Walters Pharmacy the fast and convenient choice.
I went to Walters Pharmacy and they were able to supply all of my child's needed medications.
I call Walters Pharmacy for all my prescriptions and healthcare items and have them delivered to my door.
Walters Pharmacy in Allentown.
Hi, my name's Brett Comp. I'm the head football coach at Wilson Area High School. And in today's skill set, we'd like to continue on with better receiving tips for you. As always, my demonstrators are Anthony Ventura, number 12, and Brian Cooper, number 86. Today's tips are about hand positioning as a receiver. When we catch a high pass, one about our chest or higher, we want to have our thumbs together. When we catch something below our chest or around our waist, we want to have our pinkies together now. And when we're throwing at a moving target, as a receiver coming left to right in front of our quarterback, we want to make a little bookshelf. That way we have a natural backstop behind the ball as it comes. And as you come from right to left in front of your quarterback, all you have to do is reverse that bookshelf now. Hand positioning is very important as a receiver, and that's your skill set for today.
These days I leave my car at home. I ride the bus, the smart choice.
Atlanta Metro is the comfortable, fast, clean, and low-cost way to make your way around the valley.
Atlanta Metro, the smart choice.
And now, winning the field selection of the Navy, Catalina Martinez and Christy May. Please welcome the 2007 Parkland High School Trojan Marching Band.
Okay,
Parkland High School Marching Band as we welcome you here live to Bethlehem Area School District Stadium. We're at the break. Parkland leading 6-3. Stats, highlights, and more to come here at halftime.
Let's go get Yaakov. You know it's always been the best. Let's go get Yaakov for quality that beats the rest. They got cheesesteaks, French fries. The famous Yaakov hot dog is known worldwide. Let's go get Yaakov. The secret sauce is one of a kind.
Yaakov's, an Allentown tradition.
Hi, this is Mike Mittman. Are you looking for a vehicle like brand new, only 1, 2, 3 years old? Do what I do. Come to Eberhard Motors. Isn't that right, Eric?
That's right, Mike. We've been saying that for years. At Eberhard Motors, I handpick only the best, and there's nothing here I wouldn't put in my own driveway.
And Eric, don't forget, all the cars are Advanced Stars certified and ready to roll right off the lot.
Of course I know, Mike. I'm the owner.
Eberhard Motors, been here doing it right for over 80 years.
Hey, football fans, if you love dealing with a winning team, head to the leader, Kleckner's in Whitehall and Emmaus for the fabulous GE kickoff sale. Browse our huge selection of GE ranges, GE refrigerators, GE dishwashers, GE washers, and GE dryers. Now at Kleckner's, get great savings plus free delivery, free haul away of old, a full parts department, and their own factory-trained techs. Stop in today. See why Kleckner's has been serving the Lehigh Valley since 1945. 2 locations, Kleckner's, 2177 MacArthur Road in Whitehall and 575 Chestnut Street, Emmaus.
Since the Overhead Door Company makes the original overhead door, the people who install and service them take them pretty seriously. Call or log on for the overhead door dealer nearest you.
You know I have trouble sleeping? No. Jeff, you never told him about my trouble sleeping?
Larry! Can you believe this? What do you think you're doing, getting my kid drunk?
I thought she had a speech impediment.
My God. Magenta.
I think I can use your bathroom. In out quick.
Thank you.
Oh.
For a game-winning triple play, order Service Electric Cable TV's Value Pick Package. For just $89.95 per month, you'll get full basic cable, 90 channels, including 20 exclusive channels, only on Service Electric. Service Electric Telephone, which includes call waiting, caller ID, and 3-way calling, and economy high-speed internet. Bundle up all these great services for one low price. Call Service Electric now for this incredible offer. The sooner you call, the more you save.
Parkland Freedom battling it out here in Frank Banco Field right now. On the turf is the Freedom High School Marching Band, and we will take you there to enjoy their halftime show. 6-3 Parkland as the Freedom Band makes its way off the field. And we'll take a timeout. When we return, we'll take a look at stats and highlights. Stay with us. You're watching Lehigh Valley Conference football live in the Lehigh Valley on 2 Sports Service Selection.
The Family Prescription Center in Bethlehem has served the needs of its customers for over a century. We want to help you save money on your prescriptions by offering the Family Care Plan. By enrolling in this program, you get the benefit of discounted pricing even if you are not covered by an HMO prescription plan. Individual membership is only $35 a year, and family membership is only $50 a year. Call us today at 610-866-0709 or stop by the Family Prescription Center today to enroll in the Family Care Plan and start saving.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles!
Do your children understand that a garage door isn't a toy? It's important that they realize how heavy it is and why they should never run underneath it or touch any parts while the door's moving. Don't let them play with the remote. And mount wall controls where small hands can't reach.
Brought to you by ABE Doors and Windows, the Valley's garage door headquarters for sales and selection, along with routine maintenance and expert guaranteed repairs. ABE Doors and Windows, because quality doesn't cost, it pays.
A lot of companies say they'll customize your home, but at Spectrum Homes, we actually do. From floor plan to facade, from carpentry to cabinetry, your fingerprint is on every part of the blueprint. After all, your home is an expression of who you are, your wants, your needs, and your lifestyle. Spectrum Homes. The difference is in the details.
D. Craftsman Insurance Agency first half highlights. Jim, boy, the Patriots got that opening possession, moved down the field like they were going to own the line of scrimmage, had to settle for 3, and that are the only points they've been able to get in this first half. Couple of reasons, as we see Parkland here now battling back and, getting the touchdown ultimately on 4th down to lead this ball game 6-3, but I get the sense that both coaches unhappy with maybe a drop pass here or there for Freedom, and for Parkland, obviously, the penalties.
I think it's going to be penalties for sure, Mike.
Genuine, the original overhead door, halftime statistics. Each team, go ahead, Jim.
Take a look at, it's not really a big difference, but you look at those penalties, 4 for 40 for Parkland, 3 for 25 for Freedom. Opportune times for Parkland. They got those penalties in that last drive that really kind of, put them back in a bad position where they could have or they could have got some points out of that drive probably. But if you look at this game, it's exactly what you thought it would be. 3 for 8 in completions and attempts for Parkland, 7 for 21, because Freedom's going to throw the ball with Weaver. Everything else, the rushing yards, you knew that Freedom needed to come in here and rush for some yards. They haven't done that, only 13 yards, and Parkland with 100. So it's pretty much like it was broadcast to be, Mike. And I think that, in the second half, it's going to be the team with the less penalties, best field position is going to be the winner.
4 penalties and a turnover for Parkland. The 3 penalties for 25 yards with the Trojans. About a 3-minute edge in time of possession despite those penalties as the Patriots retake the field. Both teams at 2-0. Pass along our condolences to Jim Morgans and his family. Lost his mother-in-law, age of 87. She was living with he and his wife. And Jim's a heck of a family guy, and it was a tough time. So we pass on our condolences. One thing, sitting with him, those penalties are, those, especially in that wing T offense, as we mentioned, they're truly drive killers.
Yeah, I don't think he's real happy right now, Mike, going into that locker room. He was not happy with his quarterback there at the end of the first half. And on the other hand, Jason Roeder, is a situation where he's going to be happy. Not totally happy, but he's got to be. He's in the ball game. They've done some good things. They've done some things that have been questionable. They've had some patterns break down on him, but overall, I think he did a good job in the first half with his team.
Well, Regina's roaming the sidelines. Let's hear firsthand what each coach had to say.
That's right. I just spoke with Coach Jim Morgans walking out of the locker room. He told me, you know what, we're doing this to ourselves. Just like in the first game against Glen Mills, we just have to clean up our act, play our brand of football, clean up the penalties, the mistakes. He said we had 3 penalties in that last drive before the first half ended. We run plays when we called a pass play, vice versa. So he said we just have to clean up our game, and he thinks everything will be all right. The kids, like you said, it's an inexperience factor. They're not used to this atmosphere, something he also mentioned to me. So look for a better second half from the Trojans. He calmed them down, he said, or tried to at least during the locker room. And then walking into the locker room at halftime, I spoke with head coach Jason Roeder from Freedom. He told me we need to execute, and first of all, we need to tackle. That first tackle, we have to get the Parkland Trojans down to the ground. We knew they were going to be strong and tough, but that's one thing we have to work on, especially defense. Play more sound defense, get that first tackle, and also execute on offense. So there we have thoughts from both coaches. Guys, back up to you.
Jason Roeder, a product, as we mentioned in that first half, of Bob Stem, and of course Bethlehem Catholic. He went on to a fine career at Moravian. For Scott Dapp, I chatted with him earlier when he was doing those babysitting duties, and the game's not complicated: run, block, and tackle. And he really specified that tackle. With that being said, Jim, as we look at the personnel for Parkland and you look at that stable of running backs, they make people miss. They have large, strong legs, as we mentioned, and tackling against this Trojan team is going to be a chore, you get the sense, for a number of programs within the Lehigh Valley.
And that's what frustrates Coach Morgans, that the penalties and not being able to run that efficiently is a thing that's really, got him going over there on the sidelines. And the thing of it is, once they get efficient at this, you're right, they have a very big physical backfield, and that should be able to dominate a lot of people during the year.
Surprised with that one?
Not really. I think that Emmaus has a very, very good team. Coach Baudelaire has been talking about this group for the last 2 years, and I think they've made tremendous strides. Last week, they may have lost that game at Cottingham, but they gained a lot of confidence.
Well, there's no doubt about that. They had an opportunity to win that football game, and when you can shut Easton out in the second half and that goal line stand before halftime, riding that emotion, good teams bounce back from that, and apparently Joe Baudelaire has his team back on track. I believe, and yes, we will have highlights of Emmaus Northampton Monday night on Lehigh Valley Sports Scene, 6 and 9:30. Trojans will get the football to start this second half.
Very, very important possession for Parkland here in the second half. They can come out and do what they normally do, and that is ball control and dominate as the ball falls off the tee for Schaefer here.
Yeah, there's a pretty good wind that is now all of a sudden kicking up. Jim, you said there was a slight drizzle starting to fall.
Yeah, the weather's changing a little bit. I think that cold front's coming in a little bit more, and the showers are starting to peek around a little bit, so it'll be interesting here in the second half how the weather holds out.
Schaefer's kick on its way, high end over end. Tajiri slips, and the ball goes into the end zone. We've seen a couple of slips. And it'll be 1st and 10 from their own 20. There's a real weapon, Jeff Schaefer. Getting some pretty good looks on the Division I level.
Behind the yellow line.
As I said, this is going to be a very, very important series here. They need to come out and establish the line of scrimmage and establish the non-penalties, because what's going to happen here is, they get a good drive going here. They could get momentum really on their side here with a score here early in the third period.
Liberty has opened up a 35-0 lead over Whitehall. That game in the third quarter. Here is Tajiri with a lot of running room and gains 12 on first down.
As you talked about, Mike, a real plethora of running backs for the Parkland Trojans, no different any year. He spreads the ball around in that wing tee. That's one of the things he likes about running that wing tee. It gives everybody an opportunity. And then sometimes when you get the hot hand, you keep going to it. Now, they really haven't gotten that yet in this game. But in the times we've seen him in the past, they'll keep going to that hot hand until somebody stops it.
Andrew Sloan, number 54, the center, brings the Trojans out from the huddle. First down 10. Shajiri, the motion man. They go to the fullback, and that is Kevin Harrod. Zanoni in on the stop. Harrod, 3 yards now officially. Well, now they move it back, maybe a 2-yard gain.
You take a look right there, just a straight up play up the middle there. They'd get a couple of yards, but not what they thought they would get there.
Yeah,
bring down
Harrod,
second down.
Harrod, more than anything, seemed to lose his footing there.
I think the turf may be a little slick from the slight drizzle there at halftime, Mike. Maybe people are starting to lose their grip.
Here is Tajiri, gets the outside corner. And then runs into number 8, Tyree Pompey. Close to a first down. We'll see where they spot it far side. Short of the 40-yard line will bring up third down and a long 2.
Third down and a long 1. Let's go.
Tight formation. Harrod, the fullback, and he spins his way and has enough for a Trojan first down.
So those kind of situations he loves to be in, Mike, as you said, the 220-pound back, really with that lower body speed and strength is really a vital part in that short yardage situation.
Lucky and Pompey combining to make the stop.
Take a look at it. Good search by the offensive line. Open up the hole on that right side. And he just powers his way up for the first down.
Lob to throw on first down. Now decides to tuck and run. Good coverage in that secondary, but Lob turned it into a positive gain. He dives forward and into Freedom territory. Picks up 6 on first down.
Here we take a look at it. Fakes on the outside and then rolls right. Sees nobody's in front of him. Decides to tuck and run. Going to bring up a short yardage situation here on second down.
Looking at the Harrod brothers, Kevin did not score any points last year in his junior year, but Darrell, who was the sophomore a season ago, did score a couple of touchdowns for the Trojans. Kevin Harrod on the carry here.
Now this is what Coach Roeder was talking about here to Regina at halftime. There was 3 missed tackles on that play right there that you know, really finally Velicky made the stop. But what happens is that, you know, those are the kind of things that now produce a 3rd and 1 where you could have had no gain on the play.
Lob in with from the play from the far sidelines. That's number 21 on the carry, Cale Sweeney. He has the game's only touchdown and has enough for a first down inside the 45.
Good job once again by the right side of the offensive line, and Harrod giving him a block that springs him to the outside. That's the part that really opens up the lane that he gets the first down with.
Sweeney coming into the game had 3 carries, 16 yards. One of their rushing touchdowns on the season. Caught his first pass for a touchdown in this game earlier. Here's Kevin Harrod, and those holes are getting just a little bit wider and wider. Harrod with a run of 11 yards.
Classic wing T. We're going to pound it at you, pound it at you, pound it at you, and they're doing it. That's exactly what we thought would happen here, coming out here, establishing in the 3rd quarter the line of scrimmage.
From a tight formation. Tajiri on the sweep, and another good block on the outside to spring him for a gain of more than 10 yards and another first down. Trojans now gaining it in chunks.
Well, they get it. Nice job of play calling that time by the Parkland staff as Freedom really jamming their linebackers inside. They went with the sweep, and you're going to see as soon as he gets outside in that corner, good block there by number 52, Matt Frederick, to really spring that play. Nice job by the Trojan offensive staff.
This is the 5th first down of this drive. Kevin Harrod dragging defenders with him to close to the 10-yard line.
Harrod to carry. Tackled by Sirboz.
They're there just gaining at will here, Mike. They're just doing exactly what they want to do. There it is. Kevin Harrod for 12 carries and 90 yards so far here in the ball game.
He's the lone back behind John Lobb on 2nd down 4. Kevin Harrod has it again, and you're going to get a heavy dose of it right now if you're the Freedom defense until you stop it. Carter involved on the stop, along with number 77, Kyle Peters. Now in defensively for the Patriots.
First down and goal.
This is exactly what Coach Roeder did not want to see, and exactly what Coach Morgans did want to see coming out of the locker room.
Trojans in a nice rhythm. I mean, bottom line is they only lead by 3, and the Patriots need a big defensive play here, and that might be the one. It comes from number 61, Dave Harvey.
Harvey had a very good defensive play earlier in the ball game, and that time made great inside penetration. You're going to take a look at it here. You see how he jams up inside the line, sheds the block, and goes outside to make the stop.
Yeah, it looked like that play may have been designed to be run a little tighter and inside. And the result is a big play by Harvey. Loss back to outside the 10-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 11. Lob to throw, looking over the middle, and has his man complete to number 88, Dan Kish.
Excellent job by Lob. Release that tight end down the middle. Perfect pinpoint pass for the touchdown. We'll see, that's what all that running, all that sweep, all the counters, all those things that the wing tee produces. You lull them to sleep thinking you're going to run, and all of a sudden you release that tight end down the middle for the pass.
That's first catch of the year for Kish, and that goes for a touchdown. So Sweeney and Kish getting their first receptions of the year, and both of them going for touchdowns. Trojans now will go for 2. Lob rolling right, looks deep in the end zone and has it complete to Jaleel Clark.
Nice job by Clark at 6'4", going up in the air. Lob doing a great job of getting it in there. Very big confidence booster for the Trojans here. As we said, it was a question, could they come out and dominate that first drive? And the question was answered right there as the 2-point conversion adds to the score.
Well, when this offense is effective, this is what you see. They take half the time of this 3rd quarter and go down and get what turns out to be 8 points. Kish on the touchdown reception, and then the 2-pointer to Jaleel Clark.
You take a look at that excellent throw right down the middle. That tight end release, no one there really to cover him. You can take a look at the 2-point when they roll Lob to the right, and then he has a little bit of a jump on his step there as Clark goes up in the air, uses that 6'4" frame to bring it down.
Yeah, great rebounder, great basketball player, and you know, that's playing to your strengths. You put it up there, Jaleel Clark's going to get it more often than not. That is vintage, you know, wing tee offense. 13, 85, 58. The numbers speak for themselves. Lob's 2nd touchdown pass of this ball game, and the Trojans leading at 14-3. Low line drive kick. Serrano finally able to come up with it, but is smothered under shy of the 20-yard line.
Now, right now is the big gut check for the Patriots, Mike. They're not down that much. I mean, this isn't by any means an insurmountable lead here, but you got to come out and you got to establish and you got to get some offensive rhythm going here. This is a very big drive for the rest of the season here for the Patriots.
No, you're absolutely right. You know, a lot on Joe Weaver right now is on the quarterback, Jason Roeder. You know, he talked about togetherness and trust. That's going to all be tested right now on this possession for Freedom. And they'll start this series on the ground with little or no gain. Nick DeLuca. Isaiah Wright on the carry. And gained about 4 yards. Let's go down to Regina.
Mike, you spoke of the Freedom offense and, you know, what they have to do right now in this drive. They have the confidence behind Joe Weaver. I talked to Joe this week. He said, we're confident, but not too confident.
And on the fullback is Patrick Collins. Two very interesting calls there by Jason Roeder and his offensive staff. I think maybe sending a message to his team, you know, we're in a slugfest here a little bit. Let's see you gain some yardage between the tackles, and they respond to pick up a first down.
Well, we saw that yardage that they had at halftime, Mike, and that is not going to get you any wins in this league or in any league, basically, with that kind of rushing performance. So you got to establish some kind of run.
Here's Weaver now, play action, and barely got that out of there. Barreling from behind was Zimmel, 24, along with 55, John Funk.
And that was almost intercepted by Pete Ross there, and they're very fortunate that they have the ball yet on this drive.
For tonight's game ball, red ticket 856-9044. Number again, 856-9044. Please ticket claim the game ball leading after tonight's game. Freedom sideline, 50-yard line.
From the 33. Weaver appears to be audibilizing at the line of scrimmage. Keeps it on the ground. Here's Wright. I like the play calls here. I like what the Pates are doing. We mentioned it in the first half that you get the sense if they're going to be successful, they're going to need to run the ball in this game as well. And perhaps trying to establish that somewhat now on this drive.
Well, the other thing is you don't have to go into panic mode, and you can just do the same thing that they did to you and establish an offensive rhythm, and that's what this running game is doing for them.
Well, what were their numbers throwing the ball in the first half? Threw it 21 times, completed 7. You know, Weaver, who's completed close to 60% of his passes on the year, just can't throw the ball all over the field just to be an open offense. Important third down here, 3rd down 3. And a timeout, this one charged to Freedom. I think that's pretty indicative of how important this possession is for the Pates.
You take a look at the offensive staff in the huddle there. Ben Rep and Mike Scully talking over things. Artie Owens also along there in that huddle. They want to make sure, you're right, Mike, this is a very, very important play. They need to have this play go well for them.
Robert Feltman, an assistant. Jeffrey Laird, we've mentioned. Sean McGinty. Jim Quintana, Todd Shimko, Jeff Habrill, Adam Lagath, graduate of Parkland. Artie Owens, the great Artie Owens, Benjamin Rep, and Michael Scully, as you mentioned. Next weekend, Thursday, we'll take you across the border. Watchung Hills in Phillipsburg, a special Thursday night edition of high school football. Friday night, Jim and I will be back here. That's shaping out to be a pretty interesting get-together between Emmaus and Liberty. Wilson Salisbury, our game number 2. Saturday, back to the college beat as Lehigh's home to host VMI and Freedom Central Catholic. Shaping up to be a good football game as well next Saturday night. Here's Weaver to throw on 3rd down. Has Freitas, needs to break some tackles and couldn't pull away. First man there was Darryl Harrod, who is playing a terrific game, both offensively and defensively, and that play lost perhaps 2 yards.
Good job defensively by the Trojans. They had everything in position where they needed to be, and you see how he comes up and closes on that. very, very good job by Daryl Harrod of closing in very quickly.
Well, those guys are accounted for in terms of a blocking scheme, and there were a couple of missed assignments. Short punt. A lot of Parkland Trojans around it, and now everybody's scattering to get away. And it's down at the 38-yard line.
Down to the 39-yard line, first and 10 Trojans.
Our schedule, Bangor, Saucon Valley, still to come tonight, 10 o'clock if you're watching this live on a Friday evening. Saturday, Parkland Freedom repeat, Southern Lehigh Penargil live, Caddy Wilson, same-day coverage in Bangor, Saucon Valley at 7 o'clock, and then replays on Sunday as well. Also included on that Sunday, 9 o'clock in the morning, will be a replay of Princeton and Lehigh. And the Trojans right now are, as they say in the business, running downhill. Nate Zimmel is now the fullback with the same results.
Well, they've established that line of scrimmage, Mike, and once you establish that line of scrimmage, then things go so well for you. You see Zimmel, the up back, getting the ball first, going right up through the middle of that Patriot line. Not a very good sign right now for the Patriot defense to be able to give up that kind of gain on first down.
Second carry of the game for Zimmel at a 13-yarder, had a 3-yard gain prior to that. Now you look at it as a fullback, he averages 8.9 yards a carry. Here's Tajiri. Tajiri averages 10.4 yards a carry. Kevin Arad at 6.7. And a lot of credit has to go to the big guys, too. Matt Frederick, wearing number 52, is the right guard. He's the only returning starter on that group. Center is Andrew Sloan, 54. Ian Tomko, the left guard, is 66. Right tackle, Timothy Fegley. And left tackle, Alex Kohler. Throwing the tight end, Dan Kish, who has a touchdown reception. And those guys are starting to get a little rhythm. There's a stop defensively. Zimmel on the carry. First man there, number 14, Mike Zanoni.
Zanoni, the linebacker, comes up and makes a big stop there. Now they need to stop the Trojans on this drive. They can ill afford to get another drive going for Parkland and a score come out of that, because then they will be in a little bit more trouble.
We're already under 2 minutes in this third quarter. This is just the third possession. Freedom's had one, and this is the second for Parkland. The inside reverse, here's Tajiri with Lobb downfield and throws a great block. And Tajiri with a first down inside the 25. John Lobb did a terrific job to take out a would-be defender.
Yeah, he did a great job to take out Tyler Markwith down there, who was on the end. And boy, it's the first time we've seen this play all night, Mike. A trademark, that inside reverse, and you're going to see Lobb downfield just level Markworth, take him out of bounds. Here will be a good angle to see that. You see the reverse. Now watch as Lobb singles out, takes Markworth right out of the play. Look at him, they're right out over the sidelines. Great job by your quarterback.
Well, and you know what made it really interesting, his first assignment was there to check inside, and he peeled off to become a blocker downfield. Here's Daryl Harrod, and he'll pick up perhaps 4 on first down. They won their first 11 ball games of the season a year ago. Many feel we're, at that time, one of the best teams in the state, and deservedly so. Won the Lehigh Valley Conference, knocked off by Easton in the second round of the District 11 tournament to end their year at 11-1. And there are some folks, players included, Jim, that have not forgotten the abrupt ending of last year.
Well, that's a bitter taste in their mouth from last year, and the only way to get rid of that taste is to come out and perform every week this year, and they've done a good job with that so far. And even though there's not a lot of returning veterans that were starters last year, the attitude you can see has permeated the whole team, and they've really been focused here this year.
Yeah, and there are also some, and I get the question a lot, questioning in terms of the schedule for Parkland, with Liberty and Easton being bye teams or swing teams for them for this year. That'll change next year. It's a 2-year deal, where you play 4 of the 6 teams from the opposite division. And, next year, everybody will get their wish, Liberty and Easton. But, if you're Parkland, you can only play the teams that are in front of you. There's nobody that waves a wand and eliminates those two teams. Here's Lobb looking downfield, incomplete.
You're right, Mike. You just got to do the best with what cards you're dealt, and then go from there, and then see what happens in the playoffs. But last year, as we said, just a very bitter defeat. One of the toughest way to lose on those field goals at the end of the game, and it just couldn't be scripted any tougher for them, and it was a tough pill to swallow for them.
Well, not only the field goal on the last play, but on 4th down near midfield, went for it and had the play and didn't execute.
Yep.
Had what they were looking for, didn't execute. There was a great play made defensively by Easton, but bottom line, it all shifted momentum and allowed the Red Rovers an opportunity to win that football game.
This is going to aggravate Coach Lane and Coach Morgans as well. They were just getting settled in on that, had a little reverse going again, and now there's a penalty against the Trojans.
Illegal procedure against the Trojans, 5-yard penalty.
See, when you look at the Trojans in that wing tee, a legal procedure is the best defense Freedom can come up with at any time, or any team that's playing a wing tee, because you're just stopping it before it starts.
5 penalties, now 45 yards, as Jaleel Clark makes his way back onto the field.
Reset the game clock to 14 seconds.
Zimmel remains the fullback, joining Lobb in the backfield. This is 4th down and 10. Lobb to throw, looking over the middle. Intended for Darryl Harrod, defended by Tyree Pompey, and the Patriots will hold.
Very big stop there for the Patriots. As Pompey goes up and knocks this ball down, Lobb has a lot of time to throw back there, and it ends up right off the hands of Harrod, but Pompey right there to make it happen.
Liberty having their way with Whitehall, 42-6 now the score. We'll see Liberty Emmaus here next Friday. Patriots in need of some offense, and more importantly, in need of some points. Right on the carry. Maybe a yard. Nate Zimmel on the stop. That will do it for the 3rd quarter. 14-3, Parkland.
Caring teachers, disciplined, safe, structured environment, college-bound students, academic excellence, values for a lifetime. All this and more. Do you want these things for your teenager? Bethlehem Catholic and Allentown Central Catholic, high schools of the Diocese of Allentown, students who are learning to change the world.
14-3, Parkland looking to win for the 3rd consecutive week. Freedom also in that situation with a 2-0 record. Need some offense here as we welcome you back for quarter number 4, 12 minutes on the Frank Banco Field scoreboard. Patriots faced with 2nd down and 9. Weaver rolling right, sets up, and has Freitas, who makes a tough catch under a great deal of duress. Sam Tajiri in coverage.
Tough throw to make out there, Mike. That's an awful long way to put that ball out there, but good job by the Patriots to make that thing happen.
Well, it becomes pretty clear that this Trojan secondary is a pretty talented group. When you look at Tajiri, you look at Jaleel Clark, you have a real competitor in Zuber at the one corner. Then they have some depth back there as well. Darryl Harrod in there right now, number 23, a two-way starter. Weaver to throw. Slips the defender, and the pass is complete to Velicky. And Velicky barely run out of bounds by Zuber, but he has a first down.
I was going to say, Mike, Eric Zuber doesn't knock him out of bounds. There's a lot of green in front of Velicky here. As you take a look at it, Weaver hangs in there, gets great protection from the offensive line, and gets a break here because Zuber just knocks him, trips him up just enough to force him out of bounds.
Yeah, absolutely. He had the call, and he had a blocker out in front, and one man to beat defensively could have been a touchdown-saving tackle. 1st and 10 now from their own 40. Trojans show blitz and back off. Here's Wright. Whoa, runs into a wall. Runs into a wall by the name of Kevin Harrod.
At that time, Isaiah Wright a little slow in getting up from that. They tried to delay this. They string it along to the outside. But what happens is the penetration by the offensive line, and they were right up in the face of the Patriots before they even knew what happened. And Kevin Harrod, with that 6'1", 220-pound frame, put a lick on Wright.
Team's leading tackler with 17 of them total, 2 games. He also is tied for the team lead with 2 sacks. Miller also has a couple on the year. Kevin Harrod's also recovered a fumble this year. Weaver had to just fire that one downfield as Nick DeLuca had pressure on the quarterback, and Weaver just did a good job to get that thing out of there and avoid the sack.
Well, credit the Parkland defensive staff, Mike. They have called blitzes on exactly the right times all night long. That was another one. They brought everybody in, and Weaver had no time to throw the football.
I'll tell you, I like this Weaver guy. He's a competitor. He knows his team is very much in this football game, and he continues to stand in there under some duress and try and make plays. 3rd down and 11. Weaver fires, contact, and that will give the Pates a first down. Velicky was the intended receiver. I believe it was Jaleel Clark who mistimed it in the secondary.
You're going to take a look here. Once again, you see Weaver throwing that ball over the middle, and you take a look at contact made before the play.
15-yard penalty. Previous spot, automatic first down.
Jim, I know that's a penalty on Parkland's secondary, but I'm going back to Weaver. He's hanging in there. He's throwing the ball down the field. He's getting it out of there and doing a good job with it.
Yeah, this is what comes from the experience, Mike. Playing the last 2 years really has helped him. And, I said all those camps in the summer, all those passing scrimmages, they had over 10 scrimmages this summer with the passing camps, and that's the kind of thing that has really installed confidence in him because he knows they're coming. He knows they're going to come from a lot of different angles.
6 penalty against Parkland in this game. Football at their 46. Velecky's the motion man. Wright gets the carry for a couple. Maybe squeaked out 3. Line, that was Serrano, excuse me. Deshaun Serrano on the carry. Line, a big talk with Freedom this year. Kyle Schoenberger, the center. Anthony Carter, a guard. Mike Kazmarek, a tackle. Dan McMahon, the guard. Kyle Peters. Weaver, 11 for 25, 97 yards. The area's leading passer. He has thrown for 6 touchdowns so far. So far, no scores. Here's Weaver on the keeper. Thought about maybe a late toss, but a couple of defenders draped around him, including number 81, Clint Miller.
That looks like a neat idea at the time, but boy, you're smart to just tuck that ball and go down with it because of the fact that so many things could go wrong. That ball squirts out. For example, you saw the Parkland defender coming right on top of Velicky there and could have intercepted that lateral.
Yeah, there were 3 Trojans there defensively. Looked like that play was going to be a little more successful. 3rd down, 5. The fullback, Collins. He's going to be within a yard, and I would not be surprised to see Jason Roeder go for it here on 4th down.
You take a look at it as Weaver goes into the huddle. They're ready to go.
Never even a thought. They need a yard. Collins is the up back. With Isaiah Wright, the deep back. They go to the quarterback sneak, and I'm not sure. Schoenberger, the center. There wasn't a whole lot of movement.
They're going to take a timeout and measure it here. A little bit of problem with the snap there, Mike, I think did not help his cause.
Now, the guy that started it all, they talk about if you can't get the nose guard blocked, and Nick DeLuca, number 51, was first off the football and got the penetration and stoned that play at the point of attack.
Only 5'8", but 220 pounds. They are the most important guys when it comes to that short yardage situation.
Jason Roeder talked about opportunity, that, all the hard work and all the time that goes in. And a lot of times it comes down to 4th and 1. And this time Trojans win that battle on the line of scrimmage. 8:14 to go. And Parkland a real opportunity now to close this one out.
Tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock a.m., middle school football, Frank Bengal Field. 1:15 field hockey, Freedom versus Liberty. 2:45 soccer, Freedom versus Liberty tomorrow.
Another in the stable of running backs. This is number 15, Mark Cicchini with the carry. He's a 5'9", 180-pound junior. Our Walters Pharmacy, great play, and it is lob to his tight end, Kish. Our Walters Pharmacy, great play of the game.
Well, you see the poise by Lob there, Mike. He just did a great job. Kish with the release. That's the kind of thing that the tight end loves to hear his name called in that huddle, because he knows that they've been lulling him to sleep with that running attack, as they're starting to do here again on this drive. And, when you hear your name called, you know that ball's coming to you. You get all excited.
Kevin Harrod, number 35, once again. He has a first down. This 4th and final quarter being presented by Kleckner's. 2 locations to serve you, our viewing public. 1 in Whitehall and 1 in Emmaus. Cicchini becoming the 5th Parkland ball carrier in this game. 7 for 41 yards prior to this contest. Here's Tajiri, gets the corner, and is run out of bounds. Inside the 40, has another first down.
Wear you down is what the name of the game is right now. Offensive line doing a great job once again. You see the backs, you see the holes they have to dig through there. You see big number 66, Ian Tomcho going over there. They got a lot of room to run. And now they're just taking turns at distributing the ball.
Well, Jim, the other thing that materializes, and, folks have been seeing it since Jim Morgans has been running this wing tee, whether it be at Central or at Freedom or at Salisbury, and successful everywhere. What happens is their offense all of a sudden becomes their best defense as well. You don't get many possessions in a game when Parkland is on schedule, as Jim Morgans likes to put it. And if you don't take advantage of those situations, you're not going to put points on the board.
That's exactly right, Mike. And as you saw, they dominated that third quarter. Only 3 possessions total for both teams. Yeah. And now you look at the clock running here. They're going to, once again, grind another drive out here and take 5-6 minutes if they keep holding on to the football.
Wasn't quite sure what was going to happen coming to the stadium tonight. But one thing, when I thought about Jason Roeder, and, there are no moral victories in this game, but I just, this is a better program. This is a better program, and I would expect that there's going to be some real good football played by Freedom for the remainder of the season. I'm not writing this one off as of yet, but if it stays this way, I would be surprised to see them not compete for the rest of this year, just with all the positives that we have been able to feel and see with watching them last week against Deerfield and this week again against Parkland.
No, I agree with you, Mike. You know, the thing that's tough is that this league is tough, and for you to come back and build a program, that's the problem. You know, we talked last week, about Deerfield. You know, Deerfield's a better football team than they were last year, hands down. But, you know, they didn't show it a lot yet because the league is so tough. So that's the same thing that happens here. You know, Freedom a lot better than the last couple of years in a lot of avenues. Did a great job here this evening. But Parkland is Parkland. And then when they run that wing tee, it's a tough thing to go against. And, you know, that's the thing about the league is so tough. And that's the thing that makes these coaches and the players in Lehigh Valley Conference one of the top leagues in the state.
Cicchini again on the carry, and he appears to be enough for a first down. Well, I believe it was Joe Baudelaire, head coach of Emmaus, said that, you know, we might be a better football team this year, but we might not see it in terms of wins and losses. And there's a lot of folks that feel this way. We've been talking, this is going to be an outstanding year of football, and we're seeing it. It's not parity on a mediocre level. I really, truly believe there are some good football players, and there are some very good teams, as many as 5 or 6 of them in this Lehigh Valley Conference.
Well, as I said, Mike, it's going to come down to that last weekend. I really, truly believe that, to find out where everybody's going to be ranked, you know, and there's going to be some upsets along the way as well. But, you know, you've seen tonight that, you know, the ability to run the football and the ability to play good defense have, you know, really catapulted Parkland here into this 14-3 lead. And this drive, they're looking to seal the deal. But, you know, Freedom next week, Central Catholic. That's another tough game. Everybody thought Central Catholic played over their head. Liberty played down. Everybody was mistaken after what we saw last week with Central and Becca. You know, Central's got a nice team. As you see the numbers on Jerry there, 11 carries for 81 yards as they spread that ball around again. So every week is a different challenge for somebody, and that's the part that's hard for the coaches because there is no letdowns. There's no easy people on the schedule, and that's the thing that's very hard to do when you're coaching in this league.
Will Valecki on that last stop for the Pates. Here's Kevin Harrod on the carry. And now it's a matter of time off the clock for Parkland. They have turned this game into their kind of contest. Long, sustained drives. Yeah, and it's interesting. You know, I think a lot of fans, when they see a first half like we saw here, anticipate that there's a lot of screaming and yelling that goes on in half times. And I don't know that it couldn't be more different. I think it's calm and settle down and, you know, do what we know we're capable of doing. I mean, I'm sure there's moments, but I think a lot less than what outsiders might anticipate. Here's Tajiri running through defenders, lost the football, but recovered by Kevin Harrod.
Well, good job of recovering that football there as Harrod got hit early. But you take a look at, once again, you look at a good blocking. He gets a good block up front by Harrod to help him out. Ball pops loose, but Parkland recovers. These drives they put you on, Mike, they're like going to the dentist to get your tooth filled because you know it's coming, you know which way they're going to come, but you can't stop it, and it takes up all the time. Look at 3:17 and under now as they're driving down the field once again.
Lob in no particular hurry. Checks with the back judge for his time. Darryl Harrod is into the end zone for a touchdown. Methodically have taken control of this football game.
Well, and they won this football game, Mike, by coming out in the second half and that drive down through in the third quarter. That's where they won this football game at, no question about it. That's where they break your will when you're going against them. When they can come out, control the ball. Here you're going to see it here. I mean, this is just the culmination of getting the ball back and doing the same thing they normally do. But that drive in the third quarter is what really put them over the edge, and momentum really shifted their way.
Well, and with 3:01 to go in the fourth, and now we're going to get a timeout on the point after. Freedom's going to get their third possession of the second half. And that in itself, Jim, is a demoralizing. I mean, we've seen a lot of teams, the great CB West teams under Coach Pettin, that just grinded it out. And you might come in with an explosive offense, and, the best way to contain Joe Weaver is to keep him off the field, and Parkland's been able to accomplish that here in the second half.
Yeah, they've done a great job. Defensively, they've called a lot of good blitzes. Offensively, once they settled down, got away from the penalties, did an outstanding job of controlling the football, especially in that first drive.
Trojans home next Friday. They'll host Bethlehem Catholic. Home the following week against Northampton. On the road at Allen. They'll return to J. Bernie Crum Stadium on the 13th. That's a Saturday against Central. Host Deeroff on the 19th. Emmaus on October 26th. Sounds like a good night of football to me.
That's that weekend, Mike. There's going to be a lot. Those last 2 weekends are going to be a lot of great games.
That's also the Friday night of Liberty Easton, which has become a pretty important game here in the area as of late. Trojans get things lined up, but a missed extra point try for Clint Miller. Once again, if you're just joining us, their full-time kicker, Robert Lawler, shelved tonight due to an injury playing soccer. Let's go down to Regina Potocny.
Thanks, Mike. And as Parkland finishes that 63-yard drive with a touchdown run, we talked with Jim Morgans this week, and he told us, the offense for the wing tee that we're running has been in place now for 3 years, and it's not only on the varsity level, it's all across the board. The freshman team, the JV team, even the middle school programs are running this wing tee offense. So these players who are seniors now for this Parkland team, who haven't had much varsity experience, are still playing this type of ball game throughout their years. So this is why, they're used to it. They know what they have to do. They're getting the job done. But as you can see here in the second half, it is effective since they know what's going on.
Well, I have a great deal of respect, obviously, for the wing tee. We all do, and what Jim's been able to do with it with Tom Filipovich. There you see Frank Lane. But on the other end of it, Jim, I got a feeling that, you could come out with this group and some of these Parkland teams the last couple of years and line up in an I and a pro set and win your share of football game. There's good football players on the field, let's face it.
No, there's no question about it, and I agree with you wholeheartedly on that, Mike. They've had some great football players in the last couple of years. Coach Morgan's telling us before the game, the guys that played on the offensive line last year, all the colleges that they're at, that they're playing with this year. So they've had some good talent, but you're right that the wing tee, to me, just gives you that security blanket, and he likes that security blanket. He likes keeping the ball out of the other team's hands. He likes the efficiency of it, and you can just reload, and you can spread the ball around. We said a lot of people coming in, different people during the game that really spread the ball in the backfield.
Yusef Reddick on the return for the Patriots. Team that came in here scoring 35 against CB West and 48 against Deeroff. They're being held to 3 points. Last year it was 6. And those 3 points coming on their first possession of this game. Lucky will throw on 1st and 10. Incomplete. Patriots at Central Catholic next Saturday night. Home with Allen on the 28th. Travel to Al Erdesy Field to take on Northampton on October 5th. We'll host Easton here on the 12th. Saturday the 20th, they'll play Bethlehem Catholic here, obviously. Home against Nazareth, and that little get-together on Saturday afternoon, November 3rd with Liberty. Weaver, Valecki snatches it out of the air and is across midfield. Blockers out in front. Valecki turns it upfield and is inside the 25. Once again, the effectiveness of the Parkland offense to keep this explosive offense for freedom off the field. A telling story here tonight in this football game. You give Jason Roeder's offense enough opportunities and they will score. First and 10 from the 25. Weaver near side. Valecki, no, that's number 13. Joshua Fortin-Smith.
Weaver's pass complete to Fortin-Smith.
Well, he's getting some action there. It makes a big play here early in his career.
It's his first catch.
First down and goal. Ball spotted with Trojans, 8-yard line.
First and goal from inside the 10. Valecki, pump fake. May have been picked off, and it is. Number 22, Eric Zuber, on the interception. Third of the season for the Trojans, and a tough break for Joe Weaver.
There you see the last of the Zuber clan to attend Parkland High School. I just saw his dad at halftime. He said, that's it. There's the last one we got here. So he's going to go home a happy camper here tonight with an interception for his resume.
That's a tough break for Joe Weaver. That was a nifty little deal they were putting back to try and give themselves an opportunity to get them right back in the game. The two prior interceptions for the Trojans defensively had both been returned for touchdowns. Anger, Saucon Valley still to come tonight if you're watching live on a Friday evening.
Darryl Harris on the carry. Stop by O'Connor.
Darryl Harrod, an interception return for a touchdown, along with Jaleel Clark. Both coming in last week's win against Nazareth. 2 minutes to go in regulation here, and that interception moving the Trojans closer to their third consecutive win of the season. Sweep. Here is number 21, Sweeney again. And is run out of bounds by Jermel Lee.
Well, Sweeney's had himself a whale of a ball game here this evening, Mike. You know, this is funny how when you come into these matchups, a lot of times people rise up above, and he's been one that came here tonight and did an outstanding job, and he's just putting a lot more yards there on his credits for the evening.
50 yards on the run for Sweeney.
Good job by the offensive line, but again, missed tackles. That's a thing that Coach Roeder is going to really have to address next week. You know, and I think that's a thing that one of the only things he's going to walk away from this game with being upset, and that's the missed tackles. I think he's probably satisfied with almost every other facet of this game, but the missed tackles.
They didn't tackle well enough to win this game. You're absolutely right. That carry by Sweeney, the longest by a Parkland back this year. Prior to that, Kevin Arad had a 42-yard effort. Sweeney's run of 50 yards, topping that.
See number 5, Jermel Lee, holding his hand there after that play.
Been a long second half for this Freedom defense.
They've been on the field a long time. That's the other thing, you know. Fortunately, the weather has broke a little bit, because if it was last week and they were on the field this long, that might have been a big problem for them in cramping and all that kind of other thing as well.
Fullback Zimmel on the carry. Boy, that pile just downhill running. You've seen them all. Stable of running backs, Pompey and Harvey on the tackle, but not before Zimmel down inside the 10-yard line.
Zimmel at 6 foot 220, another one of those big backs that they have in the backfield of that stable of backs for Parkland. And this might be one of the biggest, strongest backfields they've ever had, Mike. Not saying that they're the best, but one of the biggest ones as far as size-wise in a long time.
Well, and here's why Jim Morgans is considered to be one of the true gentlemen in this sport. No need to score anymore, and with 20 seconds, he'll just take a knee and run it down and leave Bethlehem School District Stadium with a 20-3 win over Freedom. And we see it time and time again. The man shows class and shows that it can be done in the right way. Terrific show by his team, particularly in this second half, Jim Wills.
Definitely, you know, he came out and got what he wanted to get, which was ball control right from the start of that second half. Took that ball and jammed it down all the way down to score a touchdown. And that's typical Parkland wing T football, and that's what he wanted to have happen. And he's certainly happy there that that was provided by them in that second half.
344 yards on the ground. Needless to say, the Trojans were able to accomplish what they had set out to do to win this football game. You know, there were some good plays by John Love. You'll recall their first touchdown was on a 4th down try where he was able to get it into the end zone for a score. We're going to take a timeout, some final thoughts, and our post game coming up. 20-3, your final.
The Family Prescription Center in Bethlehem has served the needs of its customers for over a century. We want to help you save money on your prescriptions by offering the Family Care Plan. By enrolling in this program, you get the benefit of discounted pricing even if you are not covered by an HMO prescription plan. Individual membership is only $35 a year, and family membership is only $50 a year. Call us today at 610-866-0709 or stop by the Family Prescription Center today to enroll in the Family Care Plan and start saving.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles!
Do your children understand that a garage door isn't a toy? It's important that they realize how heavy it is and why they should never run underneath it or touch any parts while the door's moving. Don't let them play with the remote. And mount wall controls where small hands can't reach.
Brought to you by ABE Doors and Windows, the Valley's garage door headquarters for sales and selection, along with routine maintenance and expert guaranteed repairs. ABE Doors and Windows, because quality doesn't cost, it pays.
A lot of companies say they'll customize your home, but at Spectrum Homes, we actually do. From floor plan to facade, from carpentry to cabinetry, your fingerprint is on every part of the blueprint. After all, your home is an expression of who you are, your wants, your needs, and your lifestyle. Spectrum Homes. The difference is in the details.
20-3 Parkland with a dominating second half here over Freedom. The Trojans improving to 3-0. Jim Morgan's team continuing, the defending Lehigh Valley Conference champs. Off to a 3-0 start. Freedom falls to 2-1. Jim Yako's player of the game, and I had a number of them to choose, but really thought that the big guy, Kevin Arad, is the guy who softened them all up, Jim.
Yeah, he did. 16 carries for 106 yards, Mike. And I'll tell you what, it was his ability to shed tackles, as you see here on this highlight, that provided the opportunity for Parkland to really get that running game going.
And a number of, solid plays from his linebacker spot as well. Kevin Arad is our Yako's player of the game. First caller Monday morning after 9 o'clock, 610-434-7833. Folks, please hit 0, get an operator, and identify Kevin Arad as our Yako's player of the game, and you'll win a gift certificate from the good folks from Yako's. I think asterisks to the linemen: Pat Fredericks, Andrew Sloan, Ian Tomcho, Timothy Fegley, Alex Kohler, and Dan Kish, the tight end. That will do it for tonight's football game. For Regina Potocny, Jim Wills, and all of us here at 2 Sports Service Electric, Andy Himmelwright, our director and producer, I'm Mike Zambelli. Thanks once again for watching Lehigh Valley Conference football. Have a great Friday night.
The preceding has been a presentation of 2 Sports, the leader in local sports coverage.